All right, guys. So I am going to go ahead and load this on both my channels, just because it's relevant to both of them. So, my how did putting on muscle and lifting weights kind of change my life, especially for the better? I think it's one of those things that definitely had a positive influence on my life. I was growing up. I was a fat kid. I would read the comic books. Man, I just I wanted to look like I love Batman. Batman was always like the one I liked more. It didn't take much to be Superman. You're invincible. It doesn't take balls to do that. You still have to have some kind of vulnerabilities. And it's just the kryptonite, which is hard to get for everybody. So, and you play with the GI Joes. I mean, how it's difficult because you have to live up to someone that's not just called man. He's called He Man. It's just double the masculinity for you to try to be. So let me see. Trying to just grow up. I wanted to, but I was just fat and lazy. I mean, that's just the truth. I didn't have the inner desire, the strength, and I mean the willpower to really push myself to the point where I would have that significant muscle growth. And I mean, like right now, just a tad under 6'2". I'm weighing about 260, 265, 235. And this is my arm. And for this is the thing is people on the internet lie. My arm is very large. At least I think it is. And it's about 18 and a quarter, 18 and a third inches. I'm telling you, everyone talks about having 20 some inch arms, but I got to see Brandon Curry, who's the current Mr. Olympia, one time at an expo. He measured his arms; they were barely over like 19. So and you're talking that's Mr. Olympia there. So a lot of times, it's kind of just skewed. Because I'm at my body weight, with a six pack, I'm weighing what Arnold was weighing when he was on the Olympia. So you have to take into consideration a lot of lies on the internet, but getting to where I was, or and I've been bigger. Obviously I'm older and I'm not able to push myself. A lot of times these injuries get in the way, but I'm trying to get as big as possible continually. How did it change my life? So first I guess it was sports. Coach Bill got me on it. I became really good at football. I was starting both offensively and defensively. I was playing both linebacker and offensive tackle. So and we were state champs. But I'd ended up leaving that school, going back to Mexico, came back to El Paso, just didn't have the football drive in me. Honestly, I only played football because I wanted my dad to watch. I was hoping he'd come to watch the games, get some attention, but never happened. So it was just, by the time I was, a senior, I was, looking like this. I was a pretty big dude. Um, so it helped me a lot with my self-confidence. That was one of the things. I got bullied a lot. I was scared. That's one of the things is, they're always like stand up to bullies. I was terrified of getting my ass beat all over again. So I was able to go ahead and stand up for myself, learn how to fight a little bit. I definitely know that having muscle mass or being bigger than my opponents, when I got stabbed, for those of you that don't know, I was jumped and got stabbed several times trying to be chivalrous. So I got stabbed several times. I got jumped. They had knives. But I won the encounter because I was able to overpower them. And this is, I had basic law enforcement defensive tactic skills at that time. This is before, I became certified in, 4 different restraint techniques, 4 different defensive tactic techniques, and an instructor in 2 offensive tactic techniques specifically for special response teams. One of them being controlled force. If you ever heard of it, there's several levels. I was certified up to level 5, which is, anywhere from mechanical control holds to, learning to fight with a knife and defensive fighting to CQB battle with small arms. So I am much more confident. I mean, I was able to. It saved my life. It literally did. If I was not stronger than those 2 guys and wasn't able to throw them around and put them down as fast as I did, it wouldn't have helped. In my career in law enforcement, greatly helped me. It just, the job, I was able to diffuse situations much quicker because you are larger. Sometimes people are less likely to challenge you. And if they do challenge you, it's a lot easier to take them down. That's the reality of it. Um, so it saved my life at least once outside of work. In work, I think it allowed me to carry myself with a lot more confidence because I knew when I was speaking to somebody, there wasn't that fear. I knew how to defend myself. And, especially, if you worked in the correctional system, you don't have a gun. I've worked outside, field, and I've worked in the correctional system. You don't have a gun. Sometimes you carry mace. Some places don't let you even carry, OC spray. So it's pretty much, it's you against them. And being able to know, hey, you know what, I can hold my ground long enough for backup to get to me. I'm not fucking Steven Seagal. It's not the movies. I'm not like Jet Li in The One fighting everyone climbing the mountain. mountain because they don't fight you like they do in the movies, especially if they're going to jump someone my size. But it helped me a lot in my career. It helped me. I think that confidence in yourself is displayed as well when you start to speak to people. So when I would be interviewing for positions or, any kind of supervisory, see, I forgot to turn off the TV again, and there goes that blue light. Supervisory positions or anything like that, you're seen like that. And I think just in general, the public, when you're talking to people, having, I knocked over my stand, having the, those masculine qualities are a benefit. I mean, that's the reality of it. A lot of people see that hard work. A lot of people look up to it, and it's just the reality. It's not a machismo thing. It's the reality of it is, hey man, some people see that, and it's seen as a good quality. Sometimes it's helped me because a lot of times people are like, he's just a musclehead. So I have that deceptive intelligence option where I can just be like, boom, you know what? I'm also a fucking nerd. I know shit. So it helped me there, but. I think self-esteem was just, the saving grace because I had zero self-esteem about myself. I had no confidence in myself. I hated myself. I've hated myself at several points because, I've let myself go a few times, and it's good. There's no better feeling than to not hate yourself, than to, wake up and be like, man, I looking at yourself in the mirror and being very proud of what you've been able to accomplish, because it's not easy. Putting muscle on is not an easy task. If it was easy, everyone would be muscular. It requires a lot of fucking hard work. It requires a lot of eating. I mean, I'm constantly having to feed myself. I'm constantly having to work out. It's snowing here in the mornings, and I'm out there, doing my cardio, while everyone's, they're delaying the entry to school and shit. Everyone's having delayed entries. They're closing every shit down, but I'm still out there doing my cardio. I'm still going to the gym. So it's one of those things it's very difficult to accomplish, but once you've accomplished it, it's easy to maintain to a certain extent, and I think you continue to want to grow there. I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, I work out, but I don't want to get too big. You will never get too big. I've been trying to get too big for 20 some years, for decades, and never woke up and went, fuck, I got too big. Even at my size right now, and I am probably the biggest guy at the gym I work out at. No, I've never woken up and went, fuck, it happened. Like, even if it was a reality where you could wake up one morning and go, shit, I got too big, you could just stop working out. It would go away. Your body gets rid of muscle really quickly. I think the saving grace about it all was it gave me an out for my depression. I'm able to go ahead and get that natural endorphin release. But, any kind of just negativity and just frustration in life and everything, I was able to take out in the gym, which I think attributes a lot to my success in working out, and that I'm able to just channel all those negative emotions and those negative feelings and push myself that much further in the gym, because you really do need to push yourself way past the point of failure to get that growth, or that growth once you're at a certain point. Because initially when you first start working out, muscle growth is pretty easy. You can pretty much, you're doing anything, you'll grow some muscle. Your diet doesn't have to be on point. As long as if you're drinking, and that's the big thing I tell everyone that starts. I mean, if you've just started, best thing you can have is probably just a good pre-workout. So you're getting your workout, you're giving it 100%, get the mindset going. But post-workout, some chocolate milk will help if you're yeah, that's it. I mean, that's just 3 cups of chocolate milk post-workout. Make sure you're 3 cups of chocolate milk in the morning if you're working out in the evenings. But, to that extent, once you get to a point where you have to really start dialing it in because you're reaching those genetic limitations, then you really have to start adding in other supplements, and just the diet has to be on point and everything like that. But it's helped me tremendously because, like I've said this before in my videos, I don't like rejection. So looking the way I do has allowed me to just not have to face rejection when approaching people. I've been able to kind of open up the field for people to approach me, or women to approach me, and it helps a lot because, man, I'm telling you, Allison Levy laughing at me in 10th grade when I asked her out left a scar. That shit was a deep scar. Like, I don't know why I can't get past that. I mean, she could have just said no, right? But no, she had to laugh. Like, it was like, no one was putting up you. See, I'm fluttering my words. It left such a scar. So it feels really good to be on the opposite end now, and be able to be the one that gets approached, or be complimented like that, and the hard work eventually pays off. So it's helped me a lot in my life because I think if I hadn't discovered bodybuilding, I'd be very lonely. I would is I mean I would I'm sure I would have friends. I'm a decent dude, but as far as my dating life or experience, would have been pretty hard or difficult to get down because I just just that pressure of that initial approach, and shit, what do I keep saying? How do I keep them entertained? How do I keep being charming? And this was before fucking text. Now via text, you can kind of think about it and say something charming, or find a funny gift to fucking attach to it. But yeah, it was one of those where it made it a lot easier to just kind of reverse the roles, and it was very flattering to have that happen, going from someone who was considered like plaguish to having the plague, to someone who there is that attraction, or that they're coming up to. I don't want to sound cocky either. I don't get hit on like all the fucking. I don't like. I that's the whole thing, is I'm not, again, I'm oblivious a lot of times to if I'm being hit on, mainly because women aren't as direct as men are. One, two, I'm not assuming that I'm being hit on. I really think that if someone's coming up and talking to me, they're legit asking me questions. I mean, unless they're asking me like, what's your phone number, then I'm like, I can infer. I'm like, but if they ask me for my phone number, my first thought is like, why? What did I witness something? Are you going to call me to court? Am I going to lose days in work? What do you need my phone number for? So I could really give you the best advice is, if you haven't started lifting weights, it's something that you could or should do. There's nothing bad that's come from it. If anything, it's kept me from drinking. It's kept me from, it kept me in high school from doing drugs. Straight up, I was like, I was straight up. I was like, you know what? No, I don't want anything to fuck up my progress. I was doing great. I'm like, I read, that cannabis was estrogenic, so I'm like, the last thing I need is any kind of estrogen in my fucking body. So it kept me clean, and for the most part, it has kept me on a very healthy path through life. I think I look pretty good for someone who's in his 40s, well into his 40s, and it's kept me young. I think for a fact, because I know a lot of friends. I see people I went to high school with, and I'm just like, damn, life's been rough. Like you haven't been pushing your body and accepting those challenges, and your body just gave. So it's been very beneficial to me that way, in that it's helped me in all those manners. And I hope truly that anyone that has been inspired by me, or is on the same path and continues to find some kind of motivation from me, you honestly see that to me this is something I look forward to doing. Sometimes, I dread fucking cardio. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every morning I wake up to do cardio, I'm like, fuck this, but it's something I have to do because I look forward to the working out. I love the weightlifting part. It's just the cardio part, but you got to combine the two in order to get the look I want. And that's the whole thing, is like, what look do you want? Because the look I want is the look that this work is having to go into. But if you just want to be a big dude, then just lift weights. You ain't got to do the cardio, even though I would recommend it. It's good for your heart. It's good all around. I think my cardio allows me to kind of clear my brain, and all those conversations you have with yourself during the day, I can have with myself during cardio, and just get to work and actually be on point. So I'm glad, I really am glad that I was put on that path, that I have been able to stay on it for the most part, very consistently, that it's produced for me. I really do like the fact that I'm very confident in myself. And that's a quality that, I used to be terrified of public speaking, but right now I don't give a fuck. I'll get up in front of entire crowds and a couple hundred people. I can talk. I have no problem doing presentations. So it's one of those things where you're able to project that because physically this, even though I'm gonna be honest with you, you may change, but there's still that fat boy syndrome will always fucking haunt you. But I'm able to go ahead and project that confidence and be able to do that. And if I'm in public, I feel very safe with myself. That's I know that if shit goes down, whether it's physical or even if it would be combat related, this is Texas, so that's all I need to tell you. In Texas, we have guns. Our guns have hidden guns. So if it was combat related, I've taken those other steps to be able to do that. On the negative, I am a very large fucking target, so I have to be a much better shot than someone if I did engage them, because you could literally like just aim in my general direction, you might fucking hit part of my body. So that is a negative there, is that you are a larger target for fuckers with guns. So you also have to, match that with determined accuracy and training. But yeah, I mean, it feels really good to be self-confident. It feels really good in situations where, shit's hitting the fan and people look at you and they're like, is this guy gonna, whatever this guy's doing, I'm getting behind him. So it's a pretty darn good feeling to go from being what I was and what the lack of self-worth I had and self-value I had, and just, feelings of helplessness that I had as a child and teenager even, to being where I'm at now and being able to kind of instill that in people and be like, you know what, it doesn't have to be permanent. There's all these changes you can make. And it all started with, me lifting my first dumbbell and finally getting off my ass and doing what needed to be done. I knew what needed to be done, but fuck, I was just lazy, man. I didn't have it in me till I, finally had that burn, heartbreak, and motivation to get it off, to get it going. And, from there, I mean, I've every time I've had a heartbreak, man, I've gotten shit. It's even better, it's a great motivating factor to just be able to just get all that negativity and just destroy the gym with it and go home and be able to be like, and then, the next day pick it up and you just pick up negativity. You're like, all right, I'm putting this in my pocket for the gym later. And at the gym, you pull out that negativity and you're like, all right, I'm going to do another set. I'm going to do another set. Someone will do something in the gym, pisses me off. I'm like, thank you, douchebag. That's another set for me. So you're able to go ahead and, instead of like lashing out with all that, you're able to just, learn to, hey man, let me internalize all this negativity and then just bring it back out and get rid of it and flush it out. So hope this helped. I know I mumbled quite a bit. I tend to mumble quite a bit, but I felt it was important for me to go ahead and make a video about how this changed me. Because, I did make the video about dating before social media, and I'll probably make a video about how I had to adapt. And I'm pretty sure I've mentioned how I had to adapt after my last divorce 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, because I was like now in an age of social media, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So I'll probably make a video, if you guys are interested in that, about how I had to kind of adapt to that. And it was basically a transformation. It was, me chronicling, because I had let myself get to my heaviest ever. I mean, I was still lifting weights, but man, I was a big dude, big chubs. And my ex-wife at that time was walking around with a goddamn fucking six-pack. So obviously, I'm here single, knowing ain't no one, like my game. I don't have game to begin with, so now I'm single. I'm just near 40 at the time, and I'm like, shit, I got to find something to get back on point. So I was able to do that. All right. Well, it's my video for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all keep your heads up. Again, anyone has, any questions and stuff, you all know my email, warlock666@gmail.com or redconjuan@gmail.com. You can get me at either of them. Sometimes the Warlock one doesn't, the email manager I use has difficulty processing that one, so I might miss them sometimes, but I log into it through Google sometimes, so I'll find them. But for the most part, you guys can always reach out to me. And I got to give shout outs to Caleb, if you're watching, and Damien. Fucking awesome transformations. Ruben, that's another one. I mean, there's just people that have come to me, and man, you guys inspire me. Like the fact that you're able to make these transformations, and it was, I had a part to do with it. You motherfuckers inspire me to continue to push myself. So I appreciate everyone who's reached out to me. I know there's a lot of you who have reached out to me and are doing this. DeAndre, that's another one. So you guys keep up the good work. Have a great one, guys. I'm out.